Here comes Joe Walsh. He is the Republican congressman, and he is tough on President Obama, and the thing he cares most about is fiscal responsibility. First of all, here's his tough message to President Obama. Clip 2.
President Obama, quit lying. You know darn well that if August 2nd comes and goes, there's plenty of money to pay off our debt and cover all of our Social Security obligations. And you also know that you and only you have the discretion to make those payments. I know you have a willing media that protects everything you say and do, but have you no shame, sir? In 3 short years, you've bankrupted this country and destroyed job creation. You're either in over your head, you don't understand what makes this country great, or you're hell-bent in turning us into some European big government wasteland. You've spent money like a drunken sailor for 3 years, and now you tell us it's time to get serious about spending?
Spent money like a drunken sailor, huh? That's interesting. Well, it turns out that Joe Walsh's ex-wife is trying to get $117,437 that Joe Walsh owes her in child support payments, according to the Chicago Sun-Times. And apparently he kept telling her, and they've been at this for 9 years, right? He gives a little bit, he doesn't. She wound up garnishing his wages at one point because he keeps saying, oh, I don't have any money. What, me? Well, it turns out she found out that when he was running for office, he lent his own campaign $35,000, $14,000 of which he has now gotten back. And she's saying, wait a minute, I thought you had no money. How did you lend your campaign $35,000? When he told her lawyers, oh, no, you don't understand. I'm between jobs. And, you know, I'm just running for this office and I don't have any money. But it turns out he does. And how did you give your campaign back $14,000 if you don't have money? And why are you not paying your own kids? She's saying, look, I'm having trouble covering their educational expenses, their medical expenses. And a guy won't chip in. Well, I'm amused by Joe Walsh's lawyer's response. His name is R. Stephen Palachik. He says, quote, I dispute that he owes the child support that she's claiming or anywhere near that amount. I like that. So, well, anywhere near that amount, meaning, yeah, he owes her child support, but we're negotiating over how much. Then Palachik continues. Joe Walsh hasn't been a big-time wage earner politician until recently. He's had no more problems with child support than any other average guy. Wrong again, Bob. First of all, not every average guy owes $117,000 in child support. Second of all, I like when he says he hasn't been a big-time wage earner politician until now. Now he's cashing in, right? And when you just look at this, you go, okay, look, you know what? Somebody can owe child support. I get it. You know, you go through tough times. Now he's got a big fat paycheck, $175,000. Now, by the way, now you might want to pay that back. But here's a guy who was running on fiscal responsibility, right? I mean, you just heard him there saying drunken sailor spending. I mean, he wouldn't do that, right? He's saying that President Obama has no shame in his lying. Well, that's interesting, because when you look further in, you begin to get a sense of exactly what Joe Walsh is about. When he was campaigning last year, one of his staffers claimed that he would, quote, spend uncontrollably. Sounds like a drunken sailor to me, right? I'm not sure even a drunken sailor would spend that much. Irony on top of irony, okay? But look, at least he's got to pay his bills to everyone other than his ex-wife, right? Right? Of course not. His campaign manager quit and sued for $20,000 in payments that he never received. Apparently, Joe Walsh does this on a regular basis. Spends, and then doesn't want to pay for it. And he went to Washington because he says Washington spends, and doesn't pay for it. That's his big campaign slogan. That's what he's accusing President Obama of lying over now. And this guy is unbelievable. It gets worse. It turns out 2 other staffers also quit and accused him of not properly disclosing a traffic citation that he had, by the way, suspended driver's license. I mean, what more can go wrong? Well, the second charge, turns out in 2008, his condo was foreclosed upon because he wouldn't pay his bills. I mean, this guy is the perfect poster child for the Republican Party. As fiscally irresponsible as you could possibly get, spends way too much, doesn't pay any of his bills, and then accuses Democrats of having that problem. Perfect projection. But, hey, when he goes on TV, we're going to go to clip 4 here, he says you know what? He's just like every guy. Let's watch.
Congressman, you're actually saying then that you're experiencing these troubles? I mean, the fact that you can't pay child support?
Well, again, Kara, personal family issues that I'm going to fight. Again, I know that story just broke, and it's interesting that it just broke right now as I'm out there trying my best to fight this president and fight the Democrats and solve this debt crisis. But look, I'm the most openly vetted candidate in the world. I have had financial troubles, and I talked about them throughout the campaign. This is where real America is.
So you think real America is you just spend all the money you don't have, and then you stiff people, including your own family, and you never pay them back? That's not the real America. That's what a bum does. That's what a liar does. And he's talking about how he's going to solve the debt crisis. Why don't you solve your own debt crisis?
We are wearing awesome t-shirts today. It's not as obvious as it should be.
Yeah, this is...
It's a Matador, Matador. I wanted a shirt that looked cute and was comfortable, and this was it. But unfortunately, the logo isn't large enough. It's very silky and soft. Do you feel the softness?